Where are they now? Guys, Paul and Karine, where are they? It has been almost 1 year since Paul and Karine had one of the most explosive 90 Day Fiance couple fights to ever happen. It was insane. It went down on like July 28th and it went on until like the beginning of August. If you don't remember real quick, basically, Karine, she was following things on Paul. She was saying Paul was doing certain things and this, that, and the other. I'm sure that can refresh your memory. It was insane. She ended up like disappearing. Then they ended up finding her and then she ended up saying the whole thing was kind of just a lie. It was crazy. Long story short, after that event went down, 90 Day Fiance pretty much just cut ties with them. They got put off the show. They weren't on the tell-all or anything, and it's been a year later and they've been extremely quiet. So a lot of you amazing people have been asking me, what is going on? Where are Paul and Karine? And I thought it was perfect time because it's almost the 1 year anniversary since that last crazy fight on an update on where Paul and Karine are exactly at in their relationship and everything else that's going on. So without further ado, y'all, here is the scoop. Paul and Karine, like I said, they had their fight, a year ago. More on that in a minute, but in present day, they are surprisingly back in the United States. Now, after that fight went down, she ran off to Indiana with some friend. Long story short, they got back together to some capacity and went back to Brazil together. And in Brazil, they did a couple things. The first thing was they started an only, fan account, which is just the most popular thing ever if you go on 90 Day Fiance, apparently. But they did that, and it's like once they did that, their relationship did a 180. And I kind of think what was actually going on with these two was basically, and I know this is going to sound offensive and rude, and I'm sorry, I don't mean it to come off that way, but I think the truth is Paul never made any money. Karine wasn't making any money. They had no money, and they had a kid with another kid on the way, so they basically had no money. And I just think Karine was getting really upset and frustrated, and just she was upset with everything. And so she was putting out her anger and frustrations on Paul a lot of the time on the show. So on the show, their relationship looked god-awful. From start to finish, it looked horrible. They were constantly fighting. And then off camera, they had that huge fight like I was telling you guys about, and it was like a several-day event. It was going on, and then I think, honestly, a lot of it stems back to the fact that they just had no money. Paul was claiming that Karine was actually cheating on him the entire time, and he even went as far to say that Ethan, their most recent boy, he wasn't the father of, he literally came out on social media and said that he was not the father. Karine was cheating. Karine went out and filed reports on him, and they were nasty. I remember, I read them. Nasty reports. If you go back to my older videos, you can see I recited a lot of the stuff. Nasty stuff. It was really awful what she was saying, and if it was true, it was completely horrific and horrible. Once Paul read those things, he came out and said that the wording that she was using was not her wording, and that someone else, took what she was kind of saying and changed it into some big crazy story. And then that's actually where it kind of ended off, because she did run away though. Then she came back. So there was a lot more to the story. But my whole point is this: she had all these issues. She was very upset and mad. And it's like the second they started their OnlyFans account and everything started changing, started making a ton of money, it was just like poof, all of their problems went away. And now at least on social media, they're doing pretty well. I know that probably sounds hard to believe and crazy and not even really true, but that is the actual truth. The second they made that account and started making a ton of money, now I have no idea how much money they were and are still making. They're big though. They're probably the second biggest, person beyond there besides Larissa from 90 Day Fiance. And they're probably neck and neck. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you go through the whole thing, they're doing a lot of stuff. They are for sure making a ton of money. So they're doing very well on there. And so the second they started making some money, their relationship problems just went away. They ended up coming there in Brazil. They were doing a bunch of stuff, and it's kind of interesting. I don't really know how this works, but Master of Blackjack on YouTube, they kind of I don't know, Paul will post vlogs. He hasn't in a minute, I don't think, but he used to kind of post vlogs and stuff on that YouTube channel. It's kind of cool. When they were in Brazil, he'd run around, and I watched a couple of them. Paul's just a character. Paul is more on him in a second. But anyway, they were in Brazil. Paul was talking about doing this and buying and investing, doing all this different real estate stuff, and because now they have money. But they ended up coming back to America. They're in Kentucky, and the last we heard from Paul was in May, around Mother's Day. Actually, on Mother's Day, he posted this picture right there. And it's just real sweet and simple. It says, "Happy Mother's Day to some of the most beautiful and patient mothers on this earth." And it's, his mother and Karine and the two babies, and he didn't really say anything else. He hasn't posted anything else since then. He does post Instagram stories, but he used to do a ton of ads, and he was always promoting his Cameo. And the second, the other account took off, they don't post anything anymore. He doesn't have anything linked anymore. He's not doing anything. He hasn't posted anything with Karine, which had some people kind of thinking, Are they still together? Because that was in May. Now we're in the end of July, almost August. But yeah, if you really go through it, it appears everyone's still following each other. They still seem to be pretty happy. Karine follows his mom. You know, she follows him. He follows her. They're definitely still together. Now, Karine is kind of the more cryptic one because she has not posted a single thing about Paul at all on her Instagram, and she even actually changed her bio. At one point, his name was on it, but now in present day, his name is gone. She's all this about Brazil and her 2 kids, but Paul's name is not anywhere to be found on her Instagram bio. So they're boring. They're making money. They're in Kentucky. They have the 2 babies. I don't know. Paul was talking a year ago that he was going to do the test, you know, the paternal. I don't know, and I hope he didn't. And honestly, for the kids' sake, I wish they'd kind of just keep to themselves now, and they appear to be more so. I don't think that they've broken up. I don't want to say that. I don't know. I would not be shocked, but as far as we can see on social media, they're still together. They're doing pretty well. I actually was speaking with Paul a while ago, and I don't have a problem saying that. I'm not going to say what we talked about, but it was nothing very personal. We were just generally talking about getting together, doing a video of some sort. We never did, which I want to so bad. I've never done an in-person video with anyone, and I want to so bad. And he was down, but we didn't piece it together good enough, and so it never really happened. But I talked to the guy for a very long time. Nice guy, definitely a talker, and he, can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and he can talk someone's ear off. But yeah, he's like, whatever, nice enough guy. And they seem to be happy. They're doing relatively well. Like I said, they're in America. They had the 2 babies. I think all the relationship drama kind of came to an end, and now they're just making money and doing their own thing, and they are definitely 100% off 90 Day Fiance, and they will definitely 100% more than likely, whether or not they want to admit it, they will more than likely never be ever back on 90 Day Fiance ever again, because if you just look at everything going on, first off, they weren't even invited to the tell-all. The tell-all, which was almost a year ago, they were not on the show. We got to see their scenes, got to see all the clips, and the tell-all and everything else, they were not to be found. They were not on it. So 90 Day Fiance cut ties with them. Paul kind of shared some info, not to me, but he shared it on his Instagram for what was kind of going on. He was acting like it was a little more of like a break kind of a thing, but I think honestly, no. I think they're done. 90 Day Fiance does that so often, and then once, Karine made her whole account thing, then it was like, we saw it with Larissa, they're for sure cutting ties and they're done. And with all the drama and all the crap, and it got real ugly with those 2, but they're doing well now. They're 100% not going to be coming back to 90 Day Fiance as far as I can tell. People are speculating that there's a chance, probably not good, but there's a chance that they might be coming back on another season of Happily Ever After, and that is why they're so quiet on social media, which, I mean, with 90 Day Fiance, you really never know. They've done crazier things, but I have a pretty big hunch, no. I think they're just making so much money from their other stuff, from Karine's thing, that they're just saying forget about it, and they're just leaving it be. And that's basically I just think that's it. I think they're doing their own thing, they're making their own money, and they'll not be back on 90 Day Fiance anytime soon. So after all the turbulent ups and downs and the craziness and all this just completely insane drama, Paul and Karine, after a year, I thought for sure they were done, like 100% for sure that there's no way they were gonna get back together. But a year later, after that insane, it was like a week plus fight, she disappeared. Oh, do you guys remember how crazy that was? The cops got involved, and then she ran off, then he ran off, then, this was filed, and it got real ugly real quick. But a year later, they're still together, which is shocking, kind of horrifying, honestly, that you can have such a horrible fight with someone and still be with them. It's kind of honestly just scary and sad and unbelievable and kind of unfortunate for the kids. But hey, if they're together and they're happy and they're in love, then I guess let's just let them be in love. Well, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope this answers as much of your Paul and Karine questions that you may have had. I want to start doing this segment more of a where are they now kind of a thing, because it's kind of interesting. There's some people that just really keep to themselves from 90 Day Fiance or even other shows like, Todd Chrisley. I get that one a lot. Where is Todd Chrisley? And I like this segment. It's kind of fun. I kind of actually find it really interesting because it is something that there are some people from these shows where it's like, where are they? So yes, I'm going to keep this thing going. I love this kind of a segment. It's kind of an episode. It's kind of a video, and I hope you do too. Well, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Please tap that like button, hit the comments below, and y'all better stay tuned for many more videos.